folks, welcome back to my channel Sprigs and Sprouts. It's September 17th today and we're getting so close to the beginning of fall. And as gardeners, I think we always sort of have to think ahead a little bit. So I've been in the mode of harvesting and preserving what I'm producing from the garden for a while now, but I'm trying to think ahead now because we're coming into fall. I've got to start getting my garden ready for fall and winter, and I figure the more I can do now, the easier the next few seasons will be, even spring. So what I want to do today is I'm going to clean up my garden. I want to clean it up. I want to clean up my pathways. It's a newly established garden, and I think it's really important if you can get on top of any weed growth or grass growth immediately so that it doesn't take over your garden. And also I've got seeds that I need to collect. There's some plants that I'm not happy with, so I'm just going to be pulling them out. Some are just finished for the season, so I'm going to pull those out. I'm also going to do some transplanting of things that are doing well, so that I can harvest in the fall. So I'm going to start here. I don't know how far I'm going to get. This video will probably be in a few parts. So I'm going to start right here, the beginning of my garden, and I'm going to start by cleaning out my pathways. Okay, so here I have some lettuce going to seed, and so I'm going to cut that down, and you'll be able to see here all of those little pod heads are full of seeds. And so what I like to do is I just like to put it in a little paper bag, and I let it dry out a little bit more. And yeah, so this is more than I'll ever need actually, but I always like to have lots because I seed this pretty heavily and then I transplant it. So this is romaine lettuce that I'm doing here. So that's my romaine lettuce. And now I'm just going to pull these out. So this here is bok choy. I planted this bok choy. I actually didn't think it was coming up. I must have got confused with what seeds, but it seems to be doing okay, so hopefully I'll get a good harvest of bok choy. And so now I'm just going to go through and weed this garden, and I'm going to pull out another plant. This might be a little bit controversial, but I have a cucamelon growing all over the place. And what I found is we don't enjoy cucamelon, so I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to pull off all the little fruits that's on the plant, and I'll give them away. I'll gift them to somebody, but it's taking over this whole bed and then some, so I'm just going to pull it out now. I may as well do it now while I'm cleaning up instead of waiting for later. So here is this cucamelon plant. It's like taking over everything. It's growing everywhere. So I feel bad, but I gotta take it out. You should see, there's so much on here. Oh. It's vining everywhere in this bed, everywhere. Oh wow, there's so many that have fallen. So I'm going to collect all of these, and I'm sure somebody I know will enjoy them. So I'm going to pull the plant out, and then that will give my tomato plant a little bit more sun. so it can thrive. No point in waiting when you don't like something, I guess. Oh, and look it, I just uncovered a kale, which is great because I love kale, and I can use this for my fall garden. Look at this. Can you see how many are on here? I'm feeling a little guilty. Is gardener's guilt a thing? I feel a little guilty, but anyways, moving on. Somebody else will enjoy this produce. Okay, so here's something else that we can harvest. Parsley seeds. So just like most vegetables or plants, when they go to seed, they produce a flower and then it produces seeds. So once they dry out, you can harvest them. So let's see here. Yeah, some of them are ready to harvest. Oh, this one definitely is. So I can collect the parsley seed, some of them. I think I'll wait. I won't pull out this plant. I'm gonna leave it because there's lots. Oh, this one I can harvest. Yeah, you just look on it and see whichever flowers are dried out, that's the one you wanna snip and save. And I like putting it in a paper bag because then you can just shake it up and the seeds will all fall to the bottom, and then you can just take the stems out and then put the seeds in an envelope. So I'm not 100% sure if I should remove this parsley plant or if I should keep it for more seeds. Okay, so this is already looking much better. Now, what's left is arugula and some mizuna. But what I really wanted to show you, I don't need to save these seeds because I already have quite a lot saved. But arugula and mizuna, and also kale, a few other types of plants, what happens is after they flower, they form these little seed pods here. Now this one's not dry enough, but these ones are. So they form these seed pods, and you break them open, and then, I don't know, can you see those seeds? Yeah, you break them open and then the seeds fall out. So this happens naturally. You can see all of the volunteer, both mizuna and arugula. Even this one here, this is a volunteer. So I'll leave the smaller ones, but I'm going to pull out the big plants. Okay, so that already feels better. I don't know, I just find it clears up mental space. I find, like, when I know that this is out here and it's a mess, it bothers me. And the other beneficial thing that happens when you pull these things up, like here, I pulled up all that arugula that I wasn't using and the mizuna, but now it gives it space for the volunteers to come up. And so I'll probably get some harvest from that in the fall. Now the rest of the bed, I'm not going to plant out anything over here. But that kale plant will have a little bit more room to breathe now. And the other thing is that I cleaned up this walkway because I couldn't even get by it because everything over here was like coming over the tomato plants. And I'm looking at this bean plant and I'm thinking it is almost ready to go. So I'm going to look through it, see if I can harvest any fresh beans for eating, and I'm going to harvest some of the seeds. So when it's ready for to collect seeds, it makes these big, beautiful beans. And so that will be perfect for planting for next year. So I'm going to save some of these seeds. I'm going to have way more than I need. I guess I can look up and see if these would be good for dry beans too, for eating in the winter. So I'll have to look that up. I've just been cleaning up this bed, which I really probably planted way too intensively in the spring. But what I had was I had some bush beans that were in here, and most of them had died. So I got a lot, actually, a lot that have gone to seed. So I'm taking those in, and I pulled out those plants. There's more here yet to pull. I'm debating on pulling out the Italian pole beans. They are still producing. I think I'll leave it. I think I'll just leave it and let it produce and go to seed, and I'll deal with that later. I do have tomatoes growing up on the other side. And then I have my kale here. I have this pepper, which I've showed you in the past. It's a hot banana pepper. Now I want to collect my pepper seeds, but a really, really important thing to keep in mind if you want to collect pepper seeds is that if I was to just pick this pepper now, as it is, it's fine for eating, it's great, but I don't think that the seeds would be viable. So with pepper seeds, well, with all seeds really, you want them to be fully mature. And I think that's what we forget sometimes with peppers. Like, you know, you pick a jalapeno, oftentimes we eat jalapenos green, but those seeds might not be viable. So what you want to do is wait for your jalapenos to go red, or whatever pepper you've planted, even if it's a green pepper, you want to wait for it to mature and go red. Some go different colors, purple or whatever, but you want to wait for it to be fully mature, and when you harvest that pepper, you save those seeds. So I'm gonna leave these peppers to mature before I start saving my pepper seeds. I've already done my jalapenos. I've got quite a few that have gone red, and also my Jimmy Nardello peppers, but a few others I'm just leaving on to go to mature so I can harvest those seeds. And then the rest of the bed, it's carrots. So I've weeded out. There wasn't very much weed pressure at all, actually. The soil is super, super dry though, so I think that's maybe, somebody suggested maybe that's why the leaves are browning on my kale, so I'll have to water really well tomorrow. Oh, this is like totally rotten. Of course, this is the best way to clean up your garden, is just to pull out the produce. Okay, so this bed is finished. I do have, as you can see here, there's I have a zucchini here. It's actually one plant, but it kind of split here. It has green leaves. It has produced a lot for me this year, but it did get powdery mildew pretty good. But the new growth looks okay, so I think I'm going to leave it. I did pull out the one that was rotting. And then we have the Swiss chard here. I did plant, I think that's either radish or Tokyo Market turnip there. And I've got a couple cilantro plants, and then my little onion plant, my little onions that don't do anything. And even though this cucumber looks very unhealthy, it is still producing. And then of course I have this tomato plant that's growing up this trellis. So overall, I think we're done with this bed. Now, if you just look down to my pathways here, you can see some cardboard. That area, it just had a lot of weeds, and I didn't want to spend hours pulling out the weeds. So I got some cardboard, and I'm going to get some more cardboard and put it up there. Okay, so this is, these are my potatoes. And I planted these, oh, I must have planted them like in April or maybe May, April or May. I'll have to go back and check. But they're still so green, so I'm not sure if I should be pulling these up or what I should be doing. There's one here. Maybe I'll try this one. This one here looks kind of dead-ish. So I'll pull this. See what we have here. Look at those. Wow. So these are Yukon Golds. Those are the potatoes I got from just that one plant. I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I just have this one last bed, I think, and then I'm gonna call it done for the day, and I'll continue. I'm gonna get up early tomorrow morning and continue the rest of the beds. But here I have my mostly paste tomatoes. They were supposed to be all paste tomatoes, but I don't know, somehow I got these other ones mixed in with them. And I have some beans growing around the perimeter, but they're mostly spent. So now I'm just trying to figure out if I just pull them out or if I let them go to seed. So I'm just gonna start and see what happens. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe I'll just pull them out because look at these beans. I don't know what's happening here. I've never seen that before. Does anybody know what that's from? So I'm thinking I'll just pull these out. Now the reason I'm doing this, like cleaning up like I am today, is because I feel sometimes like it gets kind of overwhelming doing it all at once when it's ready to put the garden to bed. So I figure if I can do it a little bit at a time, I just feel like it would make me feel better. I'm actually pretty impressed. There isn't a ton of weeds here. It's pretty good. Okay folks, well that's it for today. Together we tackled how many beds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beds together. So tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up nice and early. That's my favorite time for working in the garden. And we're gonna finish together the other 11 beds that I have in my garden. I have 21 beds altogether. They're 4 by 8. And some of them are super easy to handle because, for example, the potatoes, I'm not doing anything with them until it's time to pull them out. And I don't see any weed pressure or anything. For the most part, it's pretty good. Where I've noticed a problem is I have Canadian thistle and in my walkways, and also crabgrass. So I'm gonna do my best to pull that out as I go along. And on Monday, we're gonna go get some mulch to put down, an extra layer of mulch to suppress those weeds. So that will be in a future video. So thank you for watching this episode of Sprigs and Sprouts. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it motivated you to get out and try to get a head start on your fall garden, clean up some spaces. My intention is it's too hot today, I meant to do it today, but I want to transplant some lettuce and some kale and some sorrel to my fall winter garden. So as soon as it cools down, I'll take you along to do that. And but in the meantime, I just want to continue cleaning up my garden, harvesting what I can, just cleaning it out so that I'm on top of things. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.